Hello, Cindy here. So excited to be here with you guys today. I am excited to talk about this topic. 3 reasons why you get emotionally attached too soon. Um, if you're watching this, it may or may not, it may or may not be something that is you. However, and all of us, I can tell you this, I think all of us have been at moments in our lives where we may have gotten emotionally attached to somebody too soon, just, circumstantially, could have been anything. So I want to preface this conversation with that. And I'm going to tell you a couple of things that love is not. So love is not selfish. Love is not demanding. Okay. Love is about balance. It happens when, two people are together, right? They can stand independently of each other and they join together. So, in other words, it's not codependent. And they're not actually, and this is a big one, you guys, they're not actually, you guys aren't depending on that person to get all of your emotional needs met. It's impossible for one person to do that no matter what. So making sure that you have a life beyond that person. So let me get back to the 3 reasons why you get attached too soon. So this is probably the first one. It's one that I see commonly. It's you had some sort of abandonment in your childhood. And you might be thinking, well, Cindy had a great childhood. Maybe you did. I'm sure a lot of people do. There could have been a couple of things that happened. Maybe you came from a big family and you're the youngest, so you got forgotten sometimes. Or your parents promised they'd be at your softball game and didn't show up. So could be anything. It slipped their mind. They ended up working too late. So it could be any of those things or something more major. Maybe your father walked out on you and your family when you were really young, or it's, there are many different variant factors to this. So I invite you to hear me out. So what tends to happen when there's been abandonment and you don't understand the patterning and you don't know exactly what's going on? What happens is the subconscious tendency is actually to pick people that are like that won't actually give themselves to you fully in the relationship. He won't fully be available. And you can't necessarily tell that on a first or second or third date. And I'm going to get to that in a second. So, and you might be thinking, well, gosh, I'm aware of this, and yet you still pick somebody. There's some work to do. And I work with my clients around peeling back those layers and unhooking from those stories. So we go a lot deeper than obviously this video right here today. So the very next thing is you rely upon him for your entire happiness. So you're with him, you're together, and I touched on this a little bit, but you will often, you want to spend all your time together. You will oftentimes not take, this is it. When you don't take responsibility for your own happiness, when that person doesn't show up the way you want them to, or you're not in a relationship, you aren't very happy. You're constantly looking for outside sources to be the source of your happiness. So, and that could be anything, but a lot of times it's relationship wise. And what happens is that's a lot of pressure on somebody else to have them be responsible for your happiness. And it manifests itself in looking like this. You're basically, it's what I call an approval suck. So you are, I don't want to say addicted, but you're people pleasing with them. You look for validation from him constantly, and you're always seeking that. I want to make sure that I've got all this down. Um, so it's like you can't ever get all of your emotional needs met. It's like nothing is ever enough. And I know that might feel hard to hear if you're in that space, or even you associate being single with really being unhappy and not having a great life. Something I find is that, and I work with my clients around this, if you've got a really full life and you're really sincerely happy in your life, it's so much easier to invite him in. And there's this detachment that happens that, and men feel the energy from a woman when she really wants a partner. She thinks you're great. She's jiving on you or whatever. And they feel it. And just like you, when you've had somebody that may have been too aggressive too soon, and I'm going to talk about that in a second too, he might not, you back away. And, going back to that piece where the abandonment happened, right? And you might tend to pick people that can't fully give themselves to you emotionally. The other side to that is when somebody's fully showing up for you, you can't receive it. And you tend to push it away. I'm curious if you guys have ever encountered that in your life. So the next one, and this is my very, very last one, is you do everything based on your emotions, not what's real. Logic, I call it facts, but logic is probably better because, yeah, we don't always know all the facts. But for example, maybe, you expect him to call at a certain time, and you start to get frustrated and thinking that he changed his mind, he doesn't want to be with you, or what a jerk, or he blew you off, whatever the story is. And then you send a really mean text message. And I also call this entitlement too. It's not allowing somebody you have this idea in your mind the way somebody should be all the time, which means that you're trying to control everyone. I mean this with love. And you're also, so you're not, if it doesn't go your way, you start going into that, like my son does, 5-year-old temper tantrum, or teenager with raging hormones that might have done the same thing. So my point in sharing this is, if you find yourself getting anxiety when he doesn't call or doesn't text you in a certain time, and you find yourself acting out, triggered on those emotions, there's some deeper work to do. Or you find yourself, being the one to just reach out because you really want to foster the relationship because it's just so great, and then you push him away, right? So if any of these things resonate with you, or let me know which one sounds more familiar or most familiar to you, and I'd love to hear from you. Just so I know. And the emotion over logic thing can be tricky because I actually work out a formula with my clients around, okay, so here's the deal. What is so what's going on? He didn't call me. Maybe he forgot, he didn't call you one night, and so he didn't call. What's coming up for me? Whatever your fears are. What do I know about him? What are the facts that I know about him? Fact is, he's always shown up. Da, da, da. Actions speak louder than words. If somebody doesn't do something every once in a while, or in the timeline that you think it should be, then there gets to be some work done around that. So I highly recommend working with a mentor, coach, somebody that can help you unhook from those patterns and open you up to really be happy on your own, so you attract the kind of partner that fully shows up for you. You get to fully show up with him, and you learn how to be secure together. Okay, I hope this helps. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notifications. I'd love to hear from you, YouTube. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And if any of these resonates with you, did something land? Hope to hear from you. Not to mention Facebook Live, hello, and IGTV. So good to see you. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, also one more thing. This would be super helpful. If you know a woman that needs to hear this, please, please, please share this information with her so it could be a support of helping her get to her next level and creating her own luck and love. Thank you. Bye.